Hey, you coterie of believers. For those of you in Texas, that's coterie. Welcome to the Uncensored Unprofessor. This is a quick hitter. Living Biblically is a new CBS sitcom produced in part by Johnny Galecki, who plays Leonard Hofstadter on the sitcom Big Bang Theory. Living Biblically was started because, as Galecki said, I recognized that conversations about religion weren't being had, despite the fact that 80% of people in the world subscribe their lives to some sort of spiritual belief. As a result, Galecki set out to create a show that could, quote, inspire a conversation around the water cooler about the Bible. He said, one of the biggest hurdles is the fear to have the conversation about religion. The best way to approach a topic that people may be uncomfortable with is with comedy, end quote. Now, I gotta tell you that I'm happy because this is a show about the Bible. Let's congratulate the producers for probing a topic that is not only rarely addressed, but which is never taken seriously by Hollywood. So, what they are doing is unique. The risk they are taking alone makes me want to cheer for the show's success. Before I move to some critique, let me grant the benefit of the doubt and acknowledge most new sitcoms start out pretty wooden. When I rewatched some of the first season of Seinfeld, my all-time favorite sitcom, the writing is a bit dull and the characters are a bit flat. The pacing is a little bit slow. New shows don't come with any context for us, and so we, the audience, can find ourselves looking for cues on how to filter the storylines and understand the characters. But with Living Biblically, the characters are particularly two-dimensional. In part, I think this owes to the show's premise, which is, it's just impossible to live life literally following the Bible. Of course, this turns not only people who follow the Bible into walking caricatures, very sadly, it turns the Bible into a caricature of itself. And I'll say more to that end in a bit. The show's main character is Chip Curry, a film critic who, after the death of his best friend, determines to improve himself in his life by taking the Bible serious. In order to literally follow the Bible, Chip makes friends with a priest, and I think he's Episcopalian, but so far that's been vague. Makes friends with a priest and a rabbi, and the three men regularly drink beers down at a local pub. These friends regularly discuss Bible passages, but this is where, to play on the drinking analogy, it starts to get watery. Neither the priest nor the rabbi ever say anything of depth about biblical backgrounds, context, teachings, or traditional understandings. Worse, neither the priest nor rabbi ever converse in a way that lets us know they themselves live thick lives. Thick lives are those that are part of communities that live by established values, perspectives, beliefs, and traditions. And for their lack of depth on things related to shepherding religious communities, the priest and the rabbi simply could be a baker and a candlestick maker. Similarly, the show's characters all have fleeting feelings. They're elated in one moment and heartbroken just seconds later. Their conversations are wispy and jilted. Their perspectives on religion are particularly shallow and adolescent. Now again, I recognize that the pacing of sitcoms moves at light speed, so it can take time to develop the different characters in the show, but these characters now are just wispy thin. Me? I'm someone who, as a part of my regular routine, is trying to understand, digest, and align my life with a biblical perspective. But the producers and writers apparently want us all to think with them that the Bible is some moralizing, therapeutic, better yourself cookbook. In fact, in living biblically, the Bible is mostly reduced to just the Ten Commandments. At least this far into the show, there's no nuance about the role or place of Jewish narrative, and no penetrating presentation on the holiness, eternity, or beauty of God, and no explanation at all about why the Bible processes reality as it does. There's just no direct notion that the Bible is simply full of timeless wisdom from cover to cover. This TV show entirely omits or neglects the fact that the Bible is perhaps the most significant factor beneath Western civilization. Instead, the show wants us to believe the Bible is a rigid rule book that if followed will keep simple-minded people like Chip out of big moral violations. So what we really have this far anyway is a view of religion that is probably mainstream among Hollywood types today, which is religion is for simps, the Bible is a dated, worn-out rule book, and God mostly exists as a Feuerbachian mental construct for our own personal therapy. Chip is really the only character taking the Bible seriously. His wife isn't. And the other characters, including the priest and rabbi, are sort of amused at Chip's ramshackle paste and glue attempt to bring the Bible into his daily life. Because this show is sort of trying to take the Bible seriously, I'm rooting for more, but so far, my radar is sounding. Whoever is behind the show is not consulting with serious Christians or Jews, and that's my final remark for you wondering about this sitcom. It in no way pretends to be presenting a serious perusal of either Christianity or Judaism. It is about living biblically, as if the Bible is our goal rather than God Himself. Praise the living God. He calls us to worship Him, not the Bible. Thanks for listening. Turn your brains on, everybody.